Last week was a preview. This week is a recap, and I think we needed more time this week, so this is the podcast version. Thank you for joining me, Coach Garber, and congratulations. Again, it's got to feel good to say state champs again.
Yeah, yes, it's you don't really know exactly how it's going to feel each time because each time is a different group, it's a different makeup. But this one was special. The culture has changed for the better because of the group of girls that are part of the squad. And Saturday was like magic. Like you watch it develop, you watch a race kind of happen, and races are so organic. And you see the highs and the lows. I mean, the girl who was in the lead for the state title could not stay on her feet. Her body just stopped working. And girl that was in second passed her and was the state champion. And it's little things like that that are so unpredictable that I never go into a race like that going, oh, I know what's going to happen. Because there is drama everywhere.
Yeah.
And Saturday was a lot of fun.
When I say again, I asked Vondel this, and it's one of those things that each one is like a child. You can't say that you love one more than the other probably,
sure.
But to say again, it's got to be a different sort of feeling just because you've experienced it before and maybe now you know how to enjoy it a little bit more. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, I think so. I remember back whenever it was the 2018 boys and when they won, and I think you and I spoke back then, and the difference then was technology. We did not know back then, because of chip timing not being as advanced as it was, who won. And I remember Dan Devlin and I standing next to each other in 2018 waiting for them to pop the scores up. It used to be this really long board, and they would have to print out each individual page, and all the coaches are standing there waiting, huddled around this board for them to come out in secret, and it was almost like election results. And then they slide it through this big board, and everybody huddles around it to see. And I think that was maybe the first year they ever used this big projection screen, and all they did, it was kind of like the old opaque boards or the opaque projectors, yeah. And they slid it over top, and it said Chatham Glenwood on the top of it. And I remember in 2018, Caleb Cox was, 25 or 30 feet away, and I hear, Mike, and he's hopping up and down, and he saw it at the same time I did, and he gave me this huge bear hug, and like that moment was so crazy because it was so close. This one, obviously not as close, and the scores are coming up real time. And while that happened in 2023, 2 years ago, I don't want to say I was more confident then, but I certainly had a better idea because we had already raced the teams we were getting ready to race in that meet. And so, we saw them up in Chicago, and we'd seen a couple of those teams at Peoria High early in the season. This was the first time we had gone up against a team, Wheaton St. Francis, that we had not seen all season. Yeah. And it wasn't like we were ducking each other. It was just that our schedules didn't match up. They had gotten out of some meets that we were in. We had gone to a meet that we thought maybe they would go to, but they never didn't end up going to it. And this season, going in, seeing a team that was built similar to us and not knowing how we were going to rise to the occasion. Because our story was go into this thing, and when you see a girl with white over blue, just put your body on that body. Yeah. Not in an aggressive way, but that's the competition. Yeah. I'm sure the message to their team was exactly the same. If you see a big G on the chest and it says Titans running down the back, you put yourself on that body. That is what coaching is about. People think it's just go run, but there are intricacies and planning and talking, and I don't want to talk about it too much with the girls. But when that race started to develop, and these girls just raced their socks off, this one was magical to just watch how each individual raced. Because maybe people didn't love their races in some parts of this. Not everybody had their best day in the world. But our number 6, Millie Saletti. Millie is a freshman, and she's one of those girls that I think she was trying to figure out if she loved it or not. You can tell when people catch fire. And it was a big joke because she wouldn't drink water. She didn't like drinking water. She didn't want a sports drink. She would drink water, but she just didn't want to drink water. And she's in my study hall, and so I would come up to her desk every day, and I would grab onto the water bottle, and I'd be like shaking it in front of her, and she's giving me the eye. I'm like, go get a drink of water. If she didn't have a water bottle, and it would kind of be like a running joke between the two of us. And I saw her time start to chip down, and on Saturday, she got the message. She knew that every place matters. It does not matter if you're in the top 5 or not. And her as a number 6, she was running right next to Wheaton St. Francis's number 6. And I could see at points in the race, her looking for this girl actively. Again, this is a freshman. She did not run cross country last year. She's learning the sport. We talked to her about how cross country actually works, like this season.
Yeah.
What does the scoring look like? Why does the number 6 matter? And she didn't really get that she could win a meet for us, because if it ties, the next person is the number 6. And one of my friends, Doug Bradley, who coaches at Macomb, he's another coach friend of mine, really great guy. He said, after the meet was over, gave me a congratulations and said, I got some really good shots of your kids. I'll send you an email with it. And I just pulled it up today. I sent it to her mom. I showed her, and I said, I want you to see what the finish line looks like. And it's Millie and a girl from Wheaton St. Francis, both number 6s. And you can see Millie look across in one of the pictures, see the blue, white over blue. Then the next picture is her focusing, and you can see this like next level of arm drive, and she is just like the face and everything, and she ends up beating this girl by 0.03 of a second.
Oh my gosh.
If it would have come down to a 6, we would have won because of Millie.
Yeah.
And like that, to me, it's a series of about 12 pictures, but the story of this team is told in the series of those 12 pictures. I see the target. I know what I need to go after, and I'm going to go after it no matter what. And in that meet, in that race on Saturday, she PR'd by 1 minute and 11 seconds.
Wow.
She went from running 20:55 to 19:44 in 1 week.
Wow.
Because she said that's the target, and she just raced her. And I mean, if nothing else, winning a state championship, all of this stuff, going 3-4-7. Allie brought us being right there to get it, running 31st. Again, she ran that same thing last year. I think she was 31st last year, 32nd last year. PRing by a second after the season she's had. Like all of these storylines, Brenna Sloman, Michelle Park, like all these girls. But Millie, in that moment, encapsulated our season. And she put it on the line, and she did what she needed to do. It was amazing. I wish I could post those 12 pictures, make it into a poster, and say, this is Glenwood Cross Country, because that is what it's about.
You say the word target, and I want to dive into that a little deeper because, I may be guilty of this to a certain extent, but on my side of things, I want to explain myself. For you guys to get covered like you do, or we try to do throughout the year, is important to me because I know how hard you guys work to get the results that you get, and especially the girls, just to put their bodies through that and to understand what it takes to win a state title is really hard. So we try to cover as much as we can and give you guys as much of that.
And we appreciate
that. But
that
also, on the flip side, does put somewhat of a target on you.
Yeah.
Puts pressure on you. And for these girls, especially this group, they've kind of had that the last few years to where, I'm fortunate to talk to a lot of state champions, and sometimes after they win, they say, relief.
Yeah.
We did it, but thank God, you know? How much of that were they able to handle, and how much do you think that is a reason why they won't, because I don't know how to ask the question, but you get what I'm trying to say. It's tough for them to win a state title when you're expected to win a state title.
Yeah, I do think there is a level of I use the term outside forces for, it could be media, because running media is a lot of places right now. There's a lot of people who are trying to be the people that people turn to for running news.
Yeah.
And there are some outlets that do it better than others. There are some that are more media driven or internet driven. Some people try to do the print side of things. There was a guy earlier this year, his name's Mike Newman, who passed away at the very beginning, and he was the guy.
Yeah.
And everybody else was trying to be the guy.
He was the guy I went to find out stuff to ask you.
Yeah.
That's how I knew.
He was so passionate, to a fault sometimes, like that. His passion sometimes came out, I think, in ways that other people didn't understand. But when he passed away, I think it left a void. And when those outside forces then try to become, and again, it's on Instagram, it's on Twitter, it's on their internet website print up, stuff like that. Everybody kind of has their own niche that they're trying to go after, and the girls see it, and then they retweet it, or they, I guess for them it's more Instagram than it is Twitter, far more Instagram, but they're posting it in their stories, and it's like, here's the ranking, here's where I'm individually ranked. It can definitely get you caught up in like, this is who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
And if I'm not that person, well then these people believed in me for the wrong reason, or I'm a failure or something like that. And I know there's print media and internet media for all sports. Obviously, like the footballs and the soccers and the softballs and baseballs sometimes maybe get a little bit more than others, but Illinois is a running state. Yeah. And then you look at the rest of the country, there are maybe a handful of states that produce the regularly high-level talent that Illinois does. So even if it's not Illinois looking at it, it could be Indiana and Missouri and Ohio and Michigan and Wisconsin. And because I've made some friends out of the state on the coasts, maybe that's where it's coming in too. And you go, ooh, now what do? I think that we have done a good job of downplaying that side of the expectation, the media expectation, well, because while they might see it, we don't talk about it. It does not become a focal part of our conversation that says, well, you were ranked first by this group, or you were ranked second by this group, and to get that ranking back, we have to do X. Like, that has never been part of our conversation. I actually have looked back at some of the other media that I've done with you and other places, and I've actually spoken more probably about rankings than I should have, especially as I've matured as a coach. We have to earn a ranking. No, we don't. We have to earn anything. Besides the last meet of the season, we have to earn that. But during the season, things happen. People get hurt. People come back from injury. People have iron deficiencies. People don't make the grades, and so they can't run a race. Like
college visits. Yeah.
College visits. There's always these pieces that are going to happen, and nobody knows what teams are going to look like until the day of it. I also think there's other outside forces where it's parent expectations, or I need this college to see me to do these things, and I want to keep running, so I need to be able to create this persona, this resume online that says, I am valuable enough for you to give me a look and give me an offer or give me money, and so there's that expectation. It is a hard set of waters to navigate, I think. But because these girls care so much about each other as people, as friends, they don't look at each other as a number on the board that they have to equate themselves to. And I think it has been like that in the past at times. I think it's hard not to be that way. But I do think that this season, they truly and genuinely cared about each other as people first, and that led to a growth in a team beyond a ranking and beyond an expectation and beyond who or what was said has to be whatever the outcome is going to be. But yeah, you're right. The target mechanic of other people going, that's the Chatham. And it was funny. There was a coach from another team. We were standing back behind the awards podium, and one of the other teams that got a trophy said, hey, great job, Chatham, Glenwood. We're going to be coming for you next year. And the girls were like, and I said, listen, hold. Wouldn't we say the same? I mean, I wouldn't say the same thing to somebody, but like that, you have to know that's what people think. Uh-huh. And that's not a bad thing. What you have proven is that you can do this thing. And if people are going to come gunning for you, then that's just the nature of the beast. Nobody's going to go, oh, that's Chatham Glenwood. Let's just show up to the state meet and hand him the trophy, and then everybody goes home. We went to run the race. That's not the way it is. You want to be a target because that means you have achieved something. You have this level of excellence. While that expectation may be there from the outside, if we just keep being who we are and learning the lessons that each season has to teach us, by the time it's all done, we're going to be fine. But those are hard discussions to have. And I've explained to them at the very beginning of the season, we're not talking about these things. But these girls have been around with me long enough at this point. I mean, we did have incoming freshmen, but between the sophomores that were on the third place team last year, the juniors and seniors that were on the third place and the first place team, they know the way I speak about this kind of stuff. And it's never walking in and going, okay, we're ranked first. Got to keep it. I don't care. It's cool. It's great for them. I think it's awesome for the families. I think it's cool to share that stuff. But if I did that, we would be piling on to an already maybe higher internal level of expectation. And I care more about their mental health and what they think they can achieve than what an outside force thinks they can achieve.
Well, and two, in running in cross country, I mean, obviously these girls are very physically gifted, but mentally they have to be 100% on that Saturday to be able to do what they did.
Yeah. I think we as a society have looked at like the discussions of mental health as a negative, where you see people as weak because they don't handle stress or pressure as well as other people do. And there's a mental performance coach named Shannon Thompson, and she works with, has traditionally worked with NAU and a coach Mike Smith, who was the NAU coach for a long time, and now he's a professional coach for Nike. And I have listened to the things that she said and the way that she frames the idea of racing and competing and training and performance anxiety and all of this stuff that has come around because there are social media spotlights on certain teams and on certain people. And I think seeking help when you know you can't navigate those waters yourself is extremely important. I think we as a society need to move away from seeing that as a sign of weakness and instead looking at it as a badge of honor because you have chosen to do something positive for yourself, that you realize it's a journey you can't run alone. And I think mental health is too important to ignore. And we are a mental sport. You know, I mean, it is hard when it's just you on a run in the middle of winter and you got to layer up and you got to go out and you know that you should, but you're trying to, do I really want to? And, you know, motivation is one thing, but then when it goes, I'm not where I should be. I ran with that girl or I ran with that boy last year and they're faster now and I'm not. What's wrong with me? That conversation, well, it might not happen here. It happens here. And that is a tough one. And sometimes coaches don't know the right thing to say. And sometimes parents don't know the right thing to say, or siblings or teammates. And you do need to have somebody that you can talk to that, while maybe not like a neutral party, somebody who understands how to have those conversations in a way that would be beneficial. Yeah. And I know there's people like at UIS have done that. We've had people go to different mental performance coaches or sports psychologists. And I would love to destigmatize that part of this sport because every sport has that. I mean, soccer players have it, baseball players have it, you know, the yips and stuff like that. Like, it's a real thing. People have dealt with that, and there's discussions about how that works mentally. And that is another reason we don't have those conversations, because I don't want to be the force that puts something in their brains that says they have to be somebody that they're not. I want them to understand that I'm going to care about them no matter what, that their journey is their journey, and I will help them along the way, but sometimes my voice isn't a voice they need to hear, because my voice is a voice they hear every day. And if they're in my classroom, they hear it 2 times a day. And that can be a lot of me. But yeah, I mean, high school is hard enough. Being a teenager in 2025 is hard enough. And then you add those expectations or pressures or outcomes that are needed by some. And if I can tone that down, I want to. I want to give them a space where they can go be high school students who love to run, who want to get better for the team and for themselves, and that we grow that way. I think that's important.
I want to touch on, and she still has a spring track season, but Ashlyn Chopra and what she's done in her high school career. I think deserves some time here. To not only be a state champion again, but to do it the way she did on Saturday, I think was fitting for her and just the work that she's put in, because, man, it's incredible.
Yeah, Ashlyn is a very unique character. And I was thinking today, I can't remember if Moody said it this morning at our signing day, but she has to be the most decorated athlete in Glenwood history. 2 state championships, a 3rd place trophy, and 3-time All-State. I don't know of many other people that maybe can say that. Some people have done the All-State thing. Some people have a championship. But I think Ashlyn's the only person who has done that. And there are other girls, like Sophie Rentmeister could do it. She was All-State as a freshman. She was All-State this year. She was on the team that won. She was on the team that got 3rd. She was on this team. Like, she can do it too. Allie Londrigan can do it too. Brenna Sloman. I mean, it's just a few and far between thing.
And let's just pause.
Yeah.
You said Glenwood Athletics.
Yeah. I don't think there's another person.
I don't think we have time to go through some of the Glenwood athletes that have done some pretty incredible things.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it is just a crazy thing. But the thing is, like, it's not crazy. Because I remember as a freshman, and, you know, there are pictures that go around, and her parents have done this, like, fat head thing at every meet this year where they show up a picture of her, like, at a certain stage of her life. And one of them was, like, she was, like, 5 with these curly pews, and they're like, go, Ash. Like, it's a joke, but I love the fact that they're doing stuff like that. And there was one of her, I'm pretty sure it was, like, 8th grade year of cross country or freshman year of cross country, braces, headband. And it's like, if you could go back in time and tell that girl that she is going to be this young woman, what would you say to yourself? Like, how would you prepare yourself for this journey?
Right.
Because it hasn't been sunshines and rainbows the entire time. When 2 years ago happened, and she was really starting to figure it out in her sophomore year, we needed leadership on the team. And she wasn't ready for it then, but you could tell that she was growing in a way as a person that she would figure out, like, how to make the team better as she got older. And then last year she took over a captain's role that I think was really important for the growth of the team from 2 years ago to last year's team. And then suddenly, I shouldn't say suddenly, I decided not to do captains this year. I have had some conversations with some different coaches, and one of the things they discussed is, like, you don't need a name for a captain. You don't need to appoint a captain because captains appoint themselves. And so I didn't do it, but everybody knew that she was the leader. And other girls also took leadership roles, but she was kind of the girl. And it wasn't just in how she spoke to people, it's how she cares about people, and it's about the work that she did. And I've said this to other people too, like, I could tell that girl to run through a brick wall. And there's plenty of girls on the team that I could say the same thing. There's guys on the team I could say, run through a brick wall, and she would say how many times. She wouldn't just be like, do I have to? She would do it because she would think that I am trying to make you better for whatever reason that would do. And she would just do it. And this season, what she has done, I don't know if there's a way to quantify her contribution to this program. I don't know if there's a way to measure it. I don't know if there's a way to explain it. You just kind of have to know Ashlyn to know how much she cares about things. And there's a look that she gives. You can tell when she's given everything that she's got. If you've seen any of the video at the end of the race, it's like mouth open, leaning forward, just like driving with everything that she has. And that's just kind of a look that she has. But there was a race a couple years ago. She was running, I think it was the mile, on a very, very windy day. And to finish, you had to finish the last 100 meters into the wind. And we had discussed, like, a posture you have to take to be able to run hard into the wind. You can't be upright. You kind of have to lean into it and let your head down and just kind of dig in. And on that day, she did that. And it was just like this motion. And since that time, that look has been like the Ashlyn kick moment. And the last time I really got to see it in some form was Saturday. Obviously, we have track season left, but like in that way, when you can tell she is going to the well and she's going to give up everything that she's got for the team. I think I said in the preview thing, like, she will kill herself for the team. Like, I know that that's what she's going to do. And she went from 13th place to 3rd place in about 800 meters and chewed up some extremely talented young women in that field and just powered it home. And I think in part way it helps Sophie Reimeister because Sophie sees her going and Sophie goes, she can do it, I can do it too. Yeah, I'm just going to go right with her. Yeah, hang on right behind her. Let her grab the win. But that was like, it was so cool to see them go bang, bang like that. And then Londrigan just close by, bang. Like, yeah, it was super fun. And her leading as the #1 runner at the last meet of the season to go win a state title was a very special moment. One that I will not forget anytime soon. Well,
to lead into those other two, I think that it's important to highlight what you said about, obviously winning 2 years ago and this group being a part of that, but this year doesn't happen without Ashlyn becoming the person that she was this year, not just the runner, but like you said, the leader.
Yeah.
The person who they look to say, hey, how should we do this? Or what should we do here? Or just those little things that you probably can't even coach necessarily.
Right.
That just, you have to have that to have a state championship level team. And obviously, Allie's talented. Obviously, Sophie's very talented.
Yeah.
And we see that, but I think it speaks to Ashlyn and just that side of things that she has that you can't really quantify.
Yeah.
That now those girls probably will take over next year a little bit more. And I think that you talk about building a program and the expectations here.
Yeah.
You have to have that passed down every year to have the success.
Yeah. The process of like going through your steps as being a leader is unique for everybody. And I think if you try to copy somebody else's way, you're never fully going to get it. So you have to find your own path. And she had been around for other leaders. She was coming in just as a very strong group of leaders left. And so it was kind of like, there wasn't a void, but nobody really kind of just took over and like knew exactly what needed to be done or what needed to be said. And sometimes it's as simple as like, girls, we're going to go and warm up. Because everybody can be chatty, and I'm off talking to somebody else, my assistant coaches are dealing with something else, and everybody just kind of stands around. But it's like the little things like that, the side, hey, let's get going, is really simple, but it's also very difficult for some people to do. To be the person who puts themselves out there on a daily basis and says, let's get going, hey, don't forget this thing, we're going to wear this stuff, we're going to wear the headbands, don't forget your headband, we're going to wear this stuff on Friday, sending out a reminder of just like little quick stuff. Like, if you pay attention to what good leaders do, it almost seems effortless. And I think when you have too many cooks in the kitchen, too many people trying to be the leader, people realize like it's not that there's a default leader, it's just that this person is good at this. And so we're going to let that person do that thing. I think that's important too. And so next year, what I am going to be interested to see is we have a lot of talented, hardworking young women. And it's not going to be a fight for leadership. I think we'll just have like co-leaders, some who realize maybe they're a little bit better at getting people going for certain things, or somebody else is going to be going and sending out the reminders in a text message. And that's a good thing. I figure out what my leadership qualities are, and they bleed down to the next generation and the next generation and the next generation, because you get to see how it's supposed to be done. I think that's important. I think that's a key to a good team, is that when a person like Ashlyn graduates, who is going to be the next person that wants to be that person? And there's never going to be a next Ashlyn. There's never going to be a next Van Schneider. There's never going to be a next Evan House. There's never going to be a next person. It's who are you going to be? And I think that's a cool journey to watch that next person come in and take the leadership position.
I could sit here and talk to you all day, but I don't want to take up a ton of your time.
You're
so
fine.
I do want to touch on one more thing. And the way I'm going to ask this question, feel free to say that it's too personal, but one of the best shots that I got this year, and you get a few of those every year, and I love it, is the shot of them huddled and you praying by them.
Mm-hmm.
And then you get the shot during the boys race where all the girls come and stand beside you.
Yeah.
And just thought that, really cool moment, and then, just kind of funny and really kind of powerful. So I just, you can tell me to ask a different question.
No, it's
but
fine.
What did you pray for on Saturday when you guys did that?
So to back the initial part of that, I have done that for years. There are shots of me from, a few years ago, 5 years ago, 8 years ago. It's a posture that I take because I think they're having their moment with each other, and I think it's important that I reflect on what journey. It could be the first meet of the season or it could be the last one, on what they've accomplished, and ask for a positive team outcome that is whatever God's will is. I want them to be happy. I want them to be healthy. I want them to have success in whatever metric that is. And not everybody can be successful in the same day. And I'm sure there's a lot of different people who pray for a very similar thing. But my spiritual journey has changed over the last decade, certainly over the last 5 years, and certainly over the last 2 years. And it's like one person noticed that I take that posture and that I pray before I start. And people have asked, like, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm praying. They are praying. I want to take a similar posture. I want to be, have humility and understand that this stuff is out of my control. What happens when the race starts is purely up to them. And it's up to God. It's up to their level of preparation. It's up to what they are going to do on any given day. And I know for myself that I need to be humble in a moment and sometimes ask for clarity, sometimes ask for guidance, sometimes ask to just let go. Because on a day like state, you can get caught up in I need this outcome, and you're praying for an outcome. That outcome is going to be what it is. And there's nothing you can do in that moment to change it. But when those girls came up and did that behind me in that picture, and I've said this before, I think I posted about this, that imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. It means they care enough to do something that I do. They understand why I'm doing it. Maybe a few of them in that moment prayed too. Maybe they just did it because it was funny. Maybe they did it because everybody else was doing it. But maybe a few of them have a spiritual path, and that leads them into understanding how special this is. I don't know of many other professions that expose you to so many different personality types, that puts you in positions to be able to influence people, and I do not ever take that responsibility lightly. And so a lot of times what I pray for is just the words to be able to say to them to get them to a place where they never thought they could be. And I have a reminder on my phone to pray every day, because sometimes life gets in the way and you forget, and so it's right before practice starts, I try to be mindful of that. I've been in a coach's Bible study at lunch on Tuesday afternoons with some very important men, and the journey that I've been able to take, because it's not been an easy 2 years. It really has. Everybody sees a championship and a third place and a championship, and life is good, but it hasn't always been. Mm-hmm. There have been trials and tribulations, and my journey has been difficult at times. And I hope that when I have those moments to be able to be silent and to listen and to reflect, that those kids, when they are in that moment themselves, that they are finding a journey for themselves, finding a way, a path forward that they understand that's sometimes out of our control. Yeah. I don't know.
Well, just to kind of pull it full circle,
Sure.
I think just the way you said that is interesting, because, to take it back to the picture, when I see it and when I take it, it literally looks, almost like a shepherd and his sheep. The sheep are in a circle praying, and the shepherd is there praying. And to me, that's a powerful thing, to where, I don't know, to me, that clicked right away, where I was like, man, that's awesome to see.
Yeah, I don't know. I got into this a long time ago, and it's crazy to think that it's been such a long time ago. I've been teaching for 20 years, and this is my 13th year as a head coach, or 14th year as a head coach. And the reason I'm doing it is because the influences and the people and the guidance that was shown to me is something that if one person leaves the program and understands how much I care about them, if it's one person, I've done my job. We had Mike Johnson come and talk this year to the team, and before I ever let him speak, I want to tell the team, I want to tell those kids what he meant to me. Because I'm not here without him. I would not be doing what I'm doing without Mike Johnson. Jeff Reed's getting ready to retire from Rochester, and that guy is, again, the reason I'm here. And I've told him that too. Jay Rogers, these people that have been in my life, without them, I don't get to do this. And while there is maybe that side of it where it's the shepherding and the sheep or anything like that, I see it as I want to inspire somebody. I want to give them what was given to me, and I don't know if that will ever happen. I don't know if there'll be a person that has the reflection or feels the way about me that I feel about them, but if it ever happens, even to a percentage of whatever was given to me, that gift in my life has been so impactful that I will never be able to repay them for it. Those guys are the reason that Mike Garber is the head coach of Glenwood cross country. And I'll never stop talking about them. I'll never stop talking about the guidance that was given to me. You know, my family and my mom passed away almost 10 years ago, and my dad and I were talking, you know, in the aftermath of this and just like kind of debriefing after the race. And like my mom wasn't there on Saturday, but she was. And my dad and I like embrace after those races, and we talk about like that impact of what the family has done, and how that journey is our journey. It's my family's journey, my wife's journey, my kids' journey. And it's such an important journey. It's such a crazy thing to have to go through a season with different people and different things and outside forces. And I hope that those kids realize how special that this was. This weekend was wonderful, and it's going to live in my heart for a very long time. And I just hope that they get something small and maybe something big, I don't know, out of that journey that we took this season, because it was a blast.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Congratulations.
I appreciate it.